Scott too, or not?
He's sitting in the audience.
Oh, okay. Oh, there he is.
I'm hiding him.
Thought I saw him come in. You guys ready? All right, it is 6:01. Welcome everyone to the meeting. This will be our organizational meeting and a regular meeting. So let's start out with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, minutes from last meeting. You guys have a chance to look them over?
I did. I will make a motion that we accept the meetings from December 27, 2023 minutes as written.
I second it.
I vote yes.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura. Yes.
December 2023 financial report.
I have reviewed. I see no updates or changes that need to be made, so I will make a motion to accept the financials from December 2023.
Second.
Yes. Roll call, Laura. Yes. Sorry. Ed.
Yes.
Tiffany.
Yes.
All right, at this point in time, I will turn the meeting over to our clerk to reside.
Okay. I'd like to call for nominations for chairman for a period of either 1 or 2 years.
I nominate Tiffany for chair for 1 year.
I'll second that. Oh, no, you gotta ask any other nominations.
Are there any other nominations? You guys need to make a motion to close the nominations.
I make a motion to close the nominations.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call. Tiffany?
Yes.
Ed?
Yeah.
Laura?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to call the roll for each trustee's choice for chairman. Tiffany first. You answer with the name of your choice for chairman.
Tiffany.
Ed?
Tiffany?
Laura?
Tiffany.
Okay. Tiffany Higgins has been duly elected as chairman. And I'd like to do the same thing, call for nominations for vice chairman.
I will make a nomination to elect Ed Dean vice chairman.
Any other nominations? Okay. Can I get a motion to close the nominations?
Motion to close nominations.
Second. Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And if I can get each trustee's vote for vice chairman.
Ed Dean.
Ed Dean?
Ed Dean.
Okay, Ed Dean has been duly elected as vice chairman. Okay, I'll turn it back over to Tiffany. She's the new chairman of trustee board.
Well, this is my first time, so bear with me, guys. Any communications?
I have one. NOPEC sponsorship, they sent the sponsorship award that they send every year. It's a $1,500 award. It has to be used for a program that goes back to the community. It has to be an organization within the community that hosts events for the residents. In the past, we have nominated the Civic Association to do the Apple Butter Festival, but we need to have the packet completed back to them and decide who we'd like to give that to by April 30th, 2024.
How much money is it?
$1,500.
Was that well utilized by the Civic Association?
They very seldom get to use it because we ask for it back for something.
Oh.
They are a nonprofit organization, and that's part of that, what it's supposed to go to, a nonprofit that does things for the community and programs for the community and stuff. So I'll make a motion that we allow the $1,500 to be put to the Civics Association again.
I'll second that. Hopefully you get to keep it this year.
We're a mess.
Yes. Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes?
Laura. Yes. That's all I have.
All right, so now we are going to go into our resolutions for the time and place of our meetings for this year. Historically, we have always done our meetings the second Monday of every month. The times have changed, but this past year we settled into 6 o'clock, and that seemed to work very well for everyone. Any ideas to make changes or adjustments?
I like the second Monday at 6 o'clock.
I had an idea that I thought maybe we could try as well. Sometimes it seems that we need a second meeting and sometimes we don't. If we do decide on a second meeting, could we possibly do that at the first meeting of the month and decide month by month if we need that second meeting as we go?
I don't see why we can't. That's something that we're able to do.
That way we
That way we
can,
have one scheduled meeting for sure, and then if we just do need a second one, at that meeting we can announce that there will be a second one.
we can use it as a work session or a second meeting, whatever we need that day.
Yep.
And how do you guys feel about times for that?
I would like a day meeting, a weekday, if we have to have a second meeting,
Okay, so not an evening,
not evening.
okay? Nancy's usually here at 1 o'clock. What would you like to do?
If Nancy's here at 1, could you make it at noon?
Sure.
That might be nice, since people who work night shift would be able to attend meetings, and people who work in the evenings. Do you have any thoughts on that, Ed?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so I will make a motion that our meetings will be held the second Monday of every month at 6 p.m. And a second meeting will be held as needed to be decided at the first meeting of the month. And those meetings will take place the fourth Monday of the month at noon.
And that's something we could adjust. If the noon meeting wouldn't work, we can always adjust that when we announce we're gonna have a second meeting.
We can try it out and see how
Sure.
it goes.
I'll second that.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes?
Laura.
Yes.
Okay. Now we need to move on to the pay rates for our employees this year. I don't know if I need to read through all of the pay rates that we currently have. Is that necessary?
They've done it differently each year. Sometimes they've gone line item by line item, and some year they've done across the board.
Well, something to consider this year, because we did do some things differently. We had a pay rate adjustment for the fire department, and that took place in June of 2026. We adjusted to be more competitive, and in doing so, we made a mid-year adjustment. So that's something to consider as well. Kristy and Nancy have prepared a pay rate increase with percentages, and I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look that over. I did have a question on this, Kristy. I was looking through our pay rates for our minutes. I have the assistant chief at a different rate and also the EMS scheduler at a different rate than what we had on here. I wasn't sure which one was accurate.
What we have on the papers with anything.
Okay, because
This didn't get approved in the meeting.
okay,
Only the top part got approved in the minutes. If you go back and listen to the tape.
okay, well then that answers my question. So what do you guys think? Where are you with this?
Since we're talking about the fire department, should we ask for the chief and assistant chief's input in this possibly?
That'd be great.
Derek, you got suggestions, recommendations?
The chief, and I guess the employees got a raise and the officers didn't. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Okay. What we came up with was 20 for the chiefs, 1950 for the captains, and the 19 for the lieutenant. We've come up with.
I'm so sorry, I can barely hear
Oh,
you.
sorry. We come up with $20 for the chiefs, 1950 for the captain, and the lieutenant as of $19.
This is when you're working shifts at the station? Is that what you're asking for?
20 for the chief, 19 for the captain, 1950 for the captain,
Which we still have that position open.
and
Yes.
19 for the lieutenant.
Just a minute. So that would be over a 5% increase.
We have to keep in mind, though, they did not get an increase when the other ones did.
Correct.
And this will be for hours when they're working duty at the station.
Is that competitive with neighboring townships?
I would assume.
I have a lot of comparisons, but not for assistant chiefs and chiefs, so.
I would say it's probably pretty accurate.
Any discussion or comments?
Not really.
Okay. Well, in lieu of us not making adjustments in June, and I don't believe we've made an adjustment for the chief's salary for quite some time, I would say that that would be a reasonable request, and I'll make a motion that we do that. $20 for the chief, $19.50 for captain, and $19 for lieutenant while on duty.
Does that include the assistant chief?
Yes.
So-
Yeah, for the chiefs.
All the chiefs.
That's your motion?
That's my motion.
I will second that motion.
Yes.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
All right.
And then how about the other positions? Any recommendations for our EMRs, basics, intermediates, paramedics?
I think we're very competitive if you look at what we got going on across with neighboring departments, in my opinion. It's something we can always review and look at.
I have some rates here from some neighboring townships, if you guys want to have a look at where we are. The top number next to the title is our rate currently.
There was a little difference in them.
We're not the highest, but I'd say we're on top of the
We're not the
scale.
lowest either.
Mhm.
In the middle.
What do you guys think?
So right now, the cost of living raise is above 3%. We did do an adjustment this year already. I was going to entertain a small percentage increase so we can stay competitive with the cost of living raise. How do you feel about that, Derek?
It's not a popular opinion, but I don't think you could pay them $100 an hour and we're still going to be hurting for people. There's nobody else to work, it's a problem.
And I don't want to punish the people that are showing up.
Absolutely. If you guys are in favor of that, I'm sure that they appreciate that.
Discussions, conversation on that.
So you're looking at a 3%.
Well, we've already adjusted them this year.
That was in June.
That was in June.
Okay.
So I was considering a 1 to 2%. I believe when I did the math, our jump in June was about a 1% adjustment already from what they were before, approximately. About right. Not exactly, it was approximate because we didn't do a percentage, we did a number. So that's where my mind was.
Well, I think with the cost of living going up 3.2 something percent, and even though they did have a raise in June, I would think we should do something at the beginning of the year for them. I'm good with 2.5, something like that. 2% would be a fair, I think, since they've been within 6 months, they got a substantial increase.
Like I said,
Somewhere.
I totally get what you're saying. We could pay $50 an hour and we would still have some staffing issues, but I don't want to punish the people who are showing up. So I'll make a motion that we raise the EMR, basic, intermediate, and paramedic positions. I guess as well as the, am I missing anybody in there? No, because those would be captain and lieutenant. So I would vote that we make the EMR, basic, intermediate, and paramedic positions increase at a 2% rate.
I would second that motion.
Yes.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Okay. And also, we need to address, we had a conversation about this, and I was digging through our minutes, and I was struggling to find where we actually did come up with a resolution. We had discussed making a surplus for officers while they were on duty. Last year when we discussed that, it was 50 cents. Since we're raising their salaries, do we still want to entertain that, or does that raise per hour suffice? Any comments with you about that?
I think to raise that
Thoughts or discussion on that?
Chief's nodding his head that he thinks just the cost per hour would be
I
good.
agree that with the raises we accumulated in, that would be sufficient.
That would suffice. So,
With that input, I'll make a motion that we do it that way. The cost, the hourly rate that we gave them is sufficient without the cost of living.
I second it.
yes,
Roll call, Tiffany.
yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
All right. And moving on to our road superintendent / cemetery sexton, building and grounds superintendent, part-time help, and our assistant fiscal officer. We have here listed their current rate. Any thoughts on this? You spend a lot of time with our road department, Ed. Any ideas with that?
Again, they're invaluable. What is fair compensation? Road superintendent, which currently off of work, is $22.06 an hour, which I think is very competitive with other superintendents around. And underneath that is cemetery sexton. We don't have those two jobs. The road superintendent currently is our cemetery sexton also. So that's a little misleading there. It's not two jobs for that. That's $22.06 for both of those jobs. Just, so we're clear on that. Our part-time help, we did give them a raise a while back. $15 an hour for part-time help, we're going to be in need of part-time help. We're not going to get anybody for $15 an hour.
We raised that just a few months ago.
Just for Buddy though. We didn't raise it for any other part-time help. That was a unique situation if I remember correctly, right?
Well, if we were to hire more part-time help, would we hire them at a fixed rate, or per their experience would we hire them?
we've always hired part-time as part-time all the same. We don't have to do that, but I'm good for that. I know currently with GDF work, our part-time help, Gary Lifefight, has stepped up and he's doing everything that Tim would normally do, plus everything else that the part-time help does. So whatever you guys think for compensation is fair. I think the $15 an hour is definitely too low.
What do you have in mind? You want to bump that up to 16 as well?
I would think any part-time help should be 16 or 16.50 minimum. I'm good with 16, that's $1 an hour raise. That's not a lot of money though, but
I agree.
To
We can,
clarify, we're paying Gary $20.28 an hour, so we're gonna keep him down $4?
no, we're gonna leave him where it was. This is other part-time help that we would
Okay.
hire.
Okay.
I would agree with that $16, and if we do have to hire new part-time help, we can always reevaluate their salary and adjust.
Sure, we have the options of adjusting
Adjust as needed.
during the year. So with that being said, we gave the fire department members a 2% raise. I would think the part, other than that $16 there that we raised that to, I would think we should go with 2% across the board for the road superintendent and building ground superintendent. I would follow suit with that. 2% would be my suggestion.
When was
Is
the
it
last time they had rate?
last January?
Last year
Okay,
at
it's been a year.
the
It's been a year,
organizational
yeah.
meeting.
That's-
Other than that $116, we raised that for a special circumstance.
Except Roger, because he was hired in the rate that he was, so this would be his first.
This would be his first
adjustment.
raise.
I think that sounds reasonable, and it's in our budget.
I'll make that motion then.
I'll second it.
Yes,
Roll call Tiffany.
yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
And then our assistant fiscal officer is at $16.22 per hour. I would like to see an adjustment there.
The same 2%, or you got something else in mind, or?
Nancy does a lot for us, and I believe she deserves a raise. I would say, we don't do so well without you, Nancy. When's the last time we've adjusted Nancy's salary?
A couple of years ago, you asked for a kind of a substantial increase from what you were. I mean, not a massive increase, but it was, I don't remember, but it was a decent amount of money. I think, wasn't it? But correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was 15.
Oh, I thought you were at 13 or something. We took you up to that 16.22. Oh, okay. I stand corrected then.
And it's a hard measurement to make because we don't have a lot of comparisons. It's not
Sure.
something that a lot of townships utilize, so. I would like to do at least 2%, if not more. Any discussion or comments on that?
I think 2% sounds good.
I like the 2%.
Okay, is that a motion?
Yes, and I make the motion to raise it 2%.
I'll second that.
Yes,
Roll call Tiffany.
yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Thank you for everything you do, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy.
All right, and so are we good on all of the salary? We have all the motions we need? Ready to move on? All right, so bonds discussed at that December 27th meeting.
Skip.
Okay,
Those have already been, we've voted on that, they've been turned in and paid for correctly. Correct? All right.
all right, so set up the employment policy. At the present time, full-time employees are offered health insurance. The township pays for 85% of the premium, and the employee pays for 15% of their premium. I don't believe we need to make any adjustments there. Set vacation time for our road superintendent. At present, Mr. Suderman receives 3 weeks of vacation because he is over 10 years of service. Mr. Kintz will receive 2 weeks of vacation time per year. Vacation may be rolled over to a maximum of 1 year. Discuss Mr. Suderman vacation time rollover permitted due to his injury, only used up to 15 days. Do you want to
He
allow
only
those?
used 1 out of his 15 days last year.
Oh, only used 1 out of 15. So do we need to make an exception since he's not able to use those? Are we paying those out? What is
We
the,
made an exception, I believe, in the past, when someone had an injury, so I believe, not a workers' comp injury, but an injury.
okay?
But medical conditions, people off work, we have made an exception to that policy.
And he's not used any of them during his time off,
No,
okay?
he used,
Road superintendent and building ground supervisor received comp time for overtime worked. Trustees agreed to grant 1.5 hours of comp time for every hour of overtime logged. Trustees agreed to buy out the comp time any hours over 24 hours logged on a quarterly basis. Maximum hours to keep as comp time is 240 hours. The following are paid holidays eligible for township employees: New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Day, which can be used in lieu, another day can be used in lieu of this day. President's Day, Memorial Day, Juneteenth, Independence Day, Labor Day, Veterans Day, Columbus Day, Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday, and Christmas Day. Full-time employees are eligible for those holidays. Any changes or conversation about any of the above policies?
I don't see anything. Do we have to decide what we have to do, make a motion to allow Mr. Suderman to roll his over there? We have to,
otherwise he otherwise he can only roll over 1 week.
right, so I'll make the motion we allow Tim to roll his maximum, his vacation over due to the fact he's off on a workman's comp injury.
I'll second.
Yes.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes,
Laura.
Yes.
And then, road department.
the rest of it, I like, I'll make a motion we keep the rest of it as it was.
A through D.
Yes.
Okay, I'll second.
Yes.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes,
Laura.
Yes.
And then there's a note here we need to confirm Mr. Lightfight's part-time or full-time employee. We did receive a resignation from him on August 28th. On October 9th, we voted to keep him on his part-time since we hadn't had 2 employees to keep the workload under control. And it's my opinion that Gary should be paid his regular rate for the work he's doing. He's still doing the same work that he was doing previously, even though he's still working at a part-time casual basis.
I think part of this question is here, is he a full-time employee
Holidays.
to be paid for the holidays? I think that's what this
The
is.
only difference is does he get paid holidays or not?
Well, we would have to make an exception because he's considered a part-time employee. How many hours is he working, average?
Oh, at least 40 hours a week because Tim's off, so he's here every day. He's on the weekends, he does funerals on the weekends, he comes in the holidays and plows if he needs to.
So I would agree we should pay him holidays while he's working full-time hours. That seems only reasonable.
If that a motion, I will second that
It
motion.
is a motion.
I will second that motion.
Yes.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes,
Laura.
Yes.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
You're all
Anybody else want to thank Gary?
Thank you, Gary.
Okay, thanks.
We're good.
All right. The road department, road superintendent, cemetery sexton, buildings and ground supervisor, fire chief are required to submit written reports to trustees at meetings to be in attendance to provide. I like that. That seems to happen. You guys show up or send somebody as a report. You're getting a weekly report sent to you and you're sharing at the meeting. That seems to work out well. Although we always like it when they do show up, but. Sick day policy. At present, the road superintendent, buildings and grounds Superintendent received 3 sick days per year with an additional 5 days if hospitalized. If all sick days are not used during the year, they will not accumulate from year to year. So do you guys want to deal with E and F now? And I don't see any reason to change that. So I'll make a motion that we accept E and F as they are for 2024 as well.
I second that.
Yes.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Item 11, authorized mileage expense. IRS mileage rate for 2024 is now up to 67 cents per mile. Was there a new development about a different possible way some of the townships are doing that for excursions that are not local that you could share?
They're talking about either the 67 cents per mile or a per diem. And I don't understand what they're talking about when they're talking about the per diem. I haven't had anything to read about it, so I'm not sure yet.
So I know the IRS does have a different type of percentages that they use for business government travel that we'll need to look into more. I would say let's go ahead and accept this as it is now. We can look at that and make an adjustment at the next meeting.
Okay.
So I'll move that we will authorize the mileage for the IRS mileage rate for 2024 at 67 cents per mile.
Second.
Yes.
All right.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Sorry. Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Got it. All right, cemetery fees. Our present fees, cemetery lots for residents are $350, non-residents $1,500. Burials for residents are $500, non-residents are $600. Infant resident is $50, infant non-resident is $60. A cremation for resident is $50. Cremation for non-resident is $300. The layout fee, which we discussed at our last meeting, I believe was $125. I did a little research on our fees, and we seem to be at par or a little over, especially for our non-resident fees. We did raise our rates last year, and I think that kind of got us up to par. I don't really see any need to adjust these fees unless anyone has any further thoughts on that.
The only question I have, I like the fees as they are, except for we have to discuss multiple layout fees. The guys, they're gonna do the headstones and everything, they call our cemetery sexton, road superintendent, whoever, and tell them, hey, we're coming next week on Tuesday to do all the headstones, the footers. We hire that out. So these guys go down, you get all their maps out, they go down, they mark out all the stones and everything, and where all the all the footers are supposed to be. Then these people don't show up. So for mowing season, the pins and paint get washed away. Just recently, we've had to do it 3 times before they finally came and did it. So that's the only discussion there. Do we charge the funeral home if we lay this out 2 or 3 times, or we just eat it?
The funeral home shouldn't be charging the resident for their lack of coordination, but we shouldn't be eating that cost either.
Right. So there comes the issue.
So I'm going to say I think we should be billing for the excess within reason. If this is a continual problem, it's costing us money.
It wasn't a problem for a while, but it seems the last 6 months or so it's become a problem.
If we start charging, do you think that solves the problem?
Actually, Nancy and I talked about it as us, once we mark them, give her a paper back so she can bill it immediately. And then 2 weeks later down the road, if they come back and want to do it again, bill them again.
Is there a problem? Is it certain funeral homes that,
They're having a problem with the people that are doing the footers.
okay, they're outsourcing?
It's their problem.
Okay.
In fact, there's still some of that one bench we're talking about that haven't been done yet.
Yeah, we no longer do footers. We let the funeral home outsource the people that do the footers for the headstones and stuff.
And that's where the problem is.
It works out much better us not doing them, actually.
Well, I'll make a motion that we bill for each layout as they're done. And if multiples need to be done, We bill for those as they're being completed.
I second that.
Yes?
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes?
Laura.
Yes.
All right, buildings, town hall fee, 100, chapel fee is 50. Vault burials after 2 p.m. will be charged an additional $100. 250 additional for Saturday burials and 300 additional for Sunday and holiday burials. This doesn't happen very often. True?
What's that?
The weekend burials, holiday burials.
Yes.
It happens a lot. He
What
just
did you
had a
think?
Saturday,
I
he
just
just had
did
a
one
burial on
Saturday.
Saturday. It
Okay,
happens a lot, actually.
And it was
okay.
a Saturday after 1 o'clock, so there was more for that as well.
Does this cover our expense of having the guys out there on a Saturday or a Sunday? Is this adequate? Any need to adjust this?
What they do is they pay the standard rate up here plus the
Plus the
additional because
additional.
of that.
Mm-hmm.
You ended up being there quite a while Saturday, didn't you?
If everything goes smooth, those are good numbers, but you never know, you could end up being there for 3 We've been there 5 hours before,
Yeah,
and those numbers don't cover that on weekends, very close.
no, they don't.
Do you think that weekend fee needs to be raised?
I do.
I really don't know what the right answer is, because whose fault is it that family members can't make it and they reschedule it, and we're already down there waiting? It's happened quite a bit.
We don't want to punish anyone for that, but we also don't want to incur additional costs either, would be my opinion. What's the happy medium?
Well, maybe if we raise the rates a little bit, it would cover the ones that,
That do.
I think we should do the vault burials after 2 p.m. an additional $50.
And what about cremations? What are you gonna do, the same on cremations too?
That's
For the weekend?
Well, we have 250 additional for Saturday burials and 300 for Sunday and holiday burials, so
That's pretty rough for just a cremation, when you just dig a hole.
So I guess the idea would be to make the vault burials after 2 p.m. $150 from $100. And we're doing $250 for Saturdays. Do we want to adjust that?
again, if everything goes fine, but these guys have been there before. One time you guys were there till dark. You're supposed to be there at 4 o'clock and it was 6:30, 7 o'clock when you guys got there because the funeral home got there late.
Saturday was supposed to be a set it and forget it cremation, and I ended up being there almost 3 hours.
So right now we're doing $250 for Saturday, $300 for Sunday, and $300 for holidays. Do we want to do $300 across the board?
We don't get a lot of holiday burials, so do we?
No.
Yeah,
Nor Sunday.
nor Sunday. I like the 300 because we don't get very many of those.
So $300 across the board. So I'll make a motion that, let's see here, town hall fee at $100, chapel fee at $50, that'll stay the same. Vault burials after 2 p.m. will be $150, and we will charge $300 for Saturday burials, Sunday burials, and holiday burials.
I'd like to talk about the chapel fee.
Okay?
I'm not sure $50 covers the use of the chapel, especially in the wintertime. These guys go down in the morning, they have to clean it. If there's snow down and they shovel it off, we turn electric heaters on in there that we run all day until the funeral comes in and stuff. That $50 probably is not enough for the chapel fee.
What do you propose we raise it to?
75.
Okay?
We haven't raised that in a long time, have we, Nancy? It's been 50 as long as I can remember.
But this year is the only year we started it in
Yeah.
2020.
So,
I'm okay with that.
I'll make a motion we make the chapel fee 75 instead of 50 then, in addition to the other changes.
I second that.
Yes.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes,
Laura. Yes.
All right, ambulance fees. Life Force Management is our ambulance fee manager here. We're charging resident and non-resident $850 for basic life support transport. Advanced life support 1,000, advanced life support 2, 1,200, non-transport 300, and mileage charge loaded is $16.50 per mile. Derek, any insights on what we need to be doing for that? Anything different? Any suggestions?
Leave it as is, and the insurance company pays what they want to pay, unfortunately.
Okay.
So,
Is that pretty much the going rate, current rate though for
yeah, mostly.
loaded mileage and all that is pretty close to what it should be?
And then you read the studies, the average ambulance trip, people recoup about $150 out of every call you make, so it's unfortunate. So those numbers vary, depending on where you're at.
I'm okay with leaving it like it is, and as, again, that's something we can address if we see an issue coming up or something.
All right, is that a motion?
That is a motion.
I'll second.
Yes.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Mutual aid to the following townships shall be soft-billed the same as Deerfield Township residents: Atwater, Berlin, Edinburgh, and Palmyra. Are we soft-billing with Sebring as well?
Correct.
So Sebring needs to be added to this.
Correct.
Any discussion on that, Derek?
Sebring and Smith Township, or just?
Smith Township is covered by Sebring.
Okay, Smith, so it's Smith Township.
One and the same?
I don't know, did you?
I think we've done it a couple times too. I mean, can we just make it a blanket that we soft bill all departments or areas, or how do you want to?
Whoever is mutually doing that for us, I would
I would
assume.
assume they would. I mean, something.
We have been to Milton Township a
I
couple
think we've
times.
said a couple times, yeah, something.
So we need some type of formula for our compensation for them, so we could amend this to, or any other township or municipality that we respond to, we could make this read that way too, couldn't we?
I want to see why not.
Okay. So mutual aid will soft bill to all neighboring townships, rendering mutual aid between us and them. That's great wording, but something like that, you got my drift.
I'll second that.
Yes.
Roll call, Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Town hall rental fees. Present fees are Sunday through Sunday. Deerfield residents hosting 0 to 50 people is $100. 51 to 100 people is $175. 100 to 200 people is billed at $300. Non-residents, 0 to 50 people at $350, 51 to 100 people at $450, and 101 to 200 people at $650. We do require a $250 refundable deposit, which will be returned after 40 days. There will be a minimum of $50 up to $250 withheld from the deposit for cleaning if the hall is not cleaned after the rental. Wedding receptions, fundraisers will require a minimum deposit of $750. No confetti, hay, straw, open flames, candles, glitter, or livestock will be permitted. The livestock gets me every time. I don't know who had livestock at a wedding, or I don't know. There's probably a great story behind that. Any new pricing and rules will be effective for new rentals effective January 8th, 2024. Prior rentals made will be honored at the previously quoted price. Also, the individual renting Deerfield Town Hall must be in attendance during the entire event. Rentals that have alcohol require a deputy in uniform and not be present as a guest at the event. Organizations holding events other than meetings will be charged a rental fee of $50 to assist with the reimbursement of costs incurred to Deerfield Township. We just recently, last year, raised these prices. When we did that, it didn't seem to defer anyone from using our township. There was not a great change in the usage. Any discussion on changing prices there for any of these policies?
I think they're pretty good. One thing we do have to watch, so this is for our residents. to use. We have to keep that in mind. So we have people that are wanting to rent at a resident rate for their third cousin from their third ex-wife's boyfriend's nephew. They're wanting to rent the town hall for them.
I think you have that memorized. That's the same exact thing you
I
said
do.
last
And
year.
that kind of bothers me, because we give the discounted rate for our residents because they are residents and because they participate in the township and that. And I just think we need to be pretty clear that this is for the rental of the residents' use, not renting for, and grandsons and stuff like that, that's fine. But we do get some off-the-wall requests for the rental of this place.
Ex-wife, second cousins.
Twice removed from the,
removed.
yeah.
So none of that.
I
So,
mean, that's just something we need to consider. The discounted rate is for the residents because they are a resident. And it costs a lot of money to use this hall. We end up replacing furnaces, water
Missing
system,
tables.
missing tables, and so I just think we need to be very clear that this is for residents. So.
I'll make a motion that we keep the town hall rental fees and policies the same as last year for 2024.
I second that, and I also like the fact that the person who's running the hall has to be present. That's a good idea.
Yep.
And they need to call
It's
and,
in the contract.
they need to
Yes.
call and actually make the
Yes.
reservation, and yes, it's theirs. So,
We'll call Tiffany.
yes.
Ted.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
All right. Number 15, in the past, adopted resolution for the fire department expense reimbursement pool. Past amount was $12,000, $6,000 in 2023 due to the SAFER grant. That was kind of difficult this year.
I think we're doing a safer grant in lieu of, but I put in there since we normally pass that.
So do we need to make a resolution that we are doing 6,000 again in 2024?
The safer, that was because the safer grant started halfway through the year.
Okay.
And the safer grant, I believe, replaced that.
Yeah, the
So
safer
I don't
grant
think we need to do anything unless you guys want to.
Replaces $12,000 for 4 years. And we only did the $6,000 because
Oh,
it
I
didn't
see.
start till mid-year. So I would like to make a motion that the reimbursement pool, that we do away with the $12,000 reimbursement pool as long as we have the money from the safer grant.
I'll second.
Yes.
We'll call Tiffany.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
So I believe that was the end of our written agenda for the organizational meeting. I did want to bring up one other idea for the organizational meeting. We had talked about it a few years ago, but never went through, decided not to do it. A lot of the other townships have liaisons for each respective department. Lately, we've had some confusion with chain of command and with, who to contact with certain departments. And I would like to entertain the idea of having a liaison for the road department and maintenance, for the fire department, and for buildings and grounds. And I wanted to open that up for discussion.
Define liaison, what are the responsibilities, duties, authorities, things like that.
Go to contact, bring a report to the meeting if there isn't, say, a fire department or maintenance person present to do that. A point of contact for the public, for the employees to go to. Basically, someone who organizes and brings that information to the meeting, and a point of contact for people to go to. That would be my definition of a liaison. Of course, they don't get any more of a vote. It's still a vote of the board for everything they do. It's just someone to have a vote to, and also to divide the work between us, so we're all kind of pitching in and know where our role is to focus on.
I have no problem with that, other than the fact that I was elected to be a trustee in the township, and not just one thing. So you guys can do the liaisons if you want to. I will just continue to be a trustee, and if the fire department calls me, or road department, or buildings and grounds, I'll still respond to that in the same situation that I am now.
And then contact the liaison for that department so you can
Yep.
loop them in. I mean, I don't think that, we can't control who people contact.
Right.
But to have a go-to person for each department.
Yeah.
to streamline things. And it was brought up even with our prosecuting attorney that that is a more desirable way to do things with a chain of command.
Again, I'm okay with you guys doing that, but I'll just stay as a trustee, and anybody that contacts me, I will respond and let you guys know if it's something that you guys are a liaison to.
It doesn't diminish your role in it.
No, I know. No, I know.
Well, so I would like to make a motion that we do define a road department liaison, a fire department liaison, and a buildings and grounds liaison. Can I get a second?
I second it.
No.
Okay,
Roll call, Tiffany?
yes.
Ed?
Chiefs would do what they want.
Me? No.
Laura?
Yes.
And then I would also like to vote to assign liaisons this evening. And the first person, the road department and maintenance, Ed, I wanted to nominate you to be the liaison for that department. You're basically already doing it now, and you seem like very knowledgeable about the machines and what's going on over there.
I will still do that role, but I'm not interested in the title of liaison. That's my only point. I'm not interested in a title for the job I do. It's already trustee, isn't it? And I'm not being difficult, that's just how I think about it. I was elected to be a trustee, and I'm going to continue to do that.
And we can always revisit next year if it doesn't work out, but it's something I'd like to try. So you will continue to be a point of contact
I will,
for
yeah, I will continue with
the
the
road
road department,
department?
buildings and grounds or road department as I do now, yes.
Well, I'll move to have you be that point of contact.
Okay? I'll second.
Roll call, Tiffany?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes?
Laura?
Yes.
Laura, do you have any wants or for either the fire department or buildings and grounds?
I'd like to do the cemetery. The cemeteries.
So, buildings and grounds. Grounds. Okay. Well, I'll nominate you for that, and I'll make a motion that you do buildings and grounds.
I'll second that.
Okay.
So that means you'll be opening the town hall and closing it, right? Buildings and grounds?
That would be
Okay.
part of it.
That's what I want to know.
We're coordinating that.
Roll call, Tiffany?
Yes?
Ed?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And that leaves me with the fire department.
You gonna make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Yeah, I can be a member.
Be an honorary member.
No choice, right?
I'll make the motion that you be the fire department liaison.
Your fire chief and your assistant chief's already liaison with the department, if you guys don't know that.
A point of contact that
Right,
I
so
will
if you go
help.
out and wreck a truck tonight, we can say, hey Tiffany, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Then we don't have to say.
And the
call.
first one that's gonna know it is Ed.
It's the nature of the beast. That's what it is.
Again, whoever they call is acceptable.
That's
But
right.
that should be the point of contact if that's what we decide to do. But if they call you or me instead of you, that's acceptable
Or if
also.
I'm not available, they can call Ed or Laura, and then they would update me, so I know
Said it
what's going
shouldn't be-
on.
I don't think we
do that
can
anyhow, so you
instruct
can-
our-
Every
It's not to
township
call
does
somebody.
this, it seems to run smoothly for them, it's something I'd like to try. So, if we don't have a second, I'll second that.
Who motioned it? Laura?
Laura?
Roll call, Tiffany?
Yes.
Ed?
Abstain.
Laura?
Yes.
All right. Anything else for our organizational meeting that we haven't gone over yet? Anything else that we need to discuss?
I think we've got everything covered.
So I will make a motion that we adjourn our organizational meeting and go into regular session.
I will second that.